Welcome to my Stitch with Me video. This is not a regular floss tube where I show all my progress and my whips and everything. This is a video where I sit and stitch, and I know that's not for everyone, so feel free to leave if that's not for you. But quite a lot of you have asked if I want to do another one of the Stitch with Me. I've done one previously, and I thought, why not do it today? It's a Sunday today. It's quiet, but it is quite sunny. It was very cold over the past days, but it's quite hot today. It's about 17 degrees, I think, today. So that's a bit odd. But as you can see, I am already in my Christmas mood. I'm really enjoying Christmas. I love it. So yeah, I'll probably do some Christmas shopping this afternoon, just because I really enjoy it. But first we'll do about an hour or so stitching and chatting. And I am very sorry about the stripes you can see on my wall. It's just because it's very sunny. And I have the shades down to make the lighting better, but you can still see those stripes. Right, a stitch with me. So there's nothing, I won't tempt you to buy anything new or anything like that. It's just stitching. So if you are sat down, find yourself something to stitch, and then we can stitch together. That's the whole point. I also have a cup of tea, and as always, I will show the cup. I am not sure whether I've shown this one before. I might have done, but it's a perfect one for a Sunday, an autumny Sunday. This is called Hayworth, and it's quite subdued, if that's the word. Very calm colors. I thought when I bought this one, it would be one that I would just have displayed, but I find that I pick it quite often, especially in autumn, because it has autumn colors, and it's just very pretty. The cup is also very pretty, slightly a different shape than the regular Royal Alberts. So that's what I will be drinking my tea out of. And it's not regular tea, it's honey water. That's because I have a bit of a cold, and honey helps. So I will be stitching on my Moonlit garden. So I won't unroll it because I've just rolled it. It's this piece, and if you want to see the full update, my last regular floss tube shows where I am at the moment, and I'm just going to stitch on the border and just work that up a little bit because that's easy, and I don't want to make a mistake while stitching and chatting and then finding out I have to restart. That would be, well, not restart, but unpick it all and then restitch it. I don't want to do that. I hate unpicking. This morning I was stitching on Moon Deer, and I thought for a second, shall I just continue Moon Deer? But that's too much counting. And when I'm chatting, I don't have time for a lot of counting. So can't do that. It's a very windy day, so if you hear a bit of clanking, that's the boats that are in front of my windows. I live in front of a harbour, so they because the wind is quite strong, the boats are sort of going like that, and you hear a lot of clanking. So I stitch in hand, I always do. I don't have any hoops or Q-snaps or anything like that. And the downside of that is that I always hold my fabric, and that's not very good for the fabric, and especially these very big pieces. You can at some point feel that I've been holding it a lot. and that's not great. But for stitching wise, I prefer it like this because I do the sewing method. You can also see behind me the black, it might be iron, it might be fake iron, I have no idea. It's the starry Christmas tree that has my Christmas smalls on it. And I am so happy with that one. I love it, and I'm gonna keep using it after Christmas. It's just perfect for any season to put little smalls on there. So I might even get another one of those. You know, for Easter, you could put little Easter little ones on there. It's just perfect. Last time I was worried about chatting, and I thought I'm not sure I know enough to just talk about. So I will put the music under it again so that it can also be quiet. I've got a bit of traveling this week. I have to go to The Hague, which weirdly enough is a city I have never been before. But I won't be there for long. I'm just going basically to Central Station, and then I think they have some meeting rooms there, so we'll meet up there and then I'll come back. So I still won't see anything of The Hague, but at least I've been there. I think it's about 2.5 hours by train. I'm hoping that the trains will be going because they are striking at the moment. So let's hope for the best. I'd love to know what you are stitching on. So if you are working on something, please let me know in the comments or send me an email with a picture. Some people have done that and I love that because it's just, I don't know, makes it more interactive, I guess. So let me know what you're working on. And I'm working on 18 count Ada with 1 strand of soie d'orgeat. My mum and I went to that fair last weekend, it's about a week ago now, and I'm still enjoying the feeling of when we went there. It was lovely. It's so nice to be in and amongst people who have similar interests, who get just as happy as I do when I find a nice pattern or something. I do have to say I have lovely colleagues, and they don't stitch or do anything like this, but they do always listen or look at my pictures, so they're very kind. I love decorating my house this season. I have to be honest, I have little areas. So I have Christmas areas, I still have a few autumn areas, and then I've put my winter robins that I stitched last year. Who's it by? Lucy Heaton, I think. I love that one, so I've already put it up as well. So that's winter. So I've got different little areas in my house that I can enjoy. I love it when people are stitching and they have committed to one color and then have, I think there is someone on Facebook, and I've forgotten her name, but she has everything in all kinds of blues and greens, and it's the most beautiful color palette. And I think recently they had, well, not recently, I'm not sure when, there was a flood and they had quite a lot of damage, so she is rebuilding everything that she stitched. But I love her color palette, and it's so consistent. I have so much color in my house, and I love that too, but I like it when people commit to one color scheme and then work everything in that color scheme. I guess my mood very much influences my preferred color scheme. If I'm tired, I prefer quieter colors, and in summer I prefer brighter colors than I do at the moment. Yeah, it very much depends on the day what kind of colors I prefer to wear or be around. You also have those pictures of people who have done all their samplers in red and then have a wall full of red samplers. I mean, that's stunning. I think I've decided that not only will I frame Moon Deer professionally when that one's finished, I think I've decided to do the same with this one. It's just so pretty and so delicate. and it deserves proper framing, I think. So I don't do that with many pieces because I think it's very expensive. But certain pieces, it might be worth it. And I'd have to go to Belgium, I think, to have it framed. Het Garenhuisje does it. And you know, they know their stuff when it's about stitching. They were at the fair. I've been to a pop-up shop that they had in Knokke at some point. And each time I was impressed by their knowledge and the way they just cater to all of us. I think they have a great range of stuff. It's big fun, and they know about stitching. They stitch all their example pieces themselves, so they know, and I'll trust them with framing these pieces of mine. Isn't that weird? Because you're giving a little piece of yourself to someone you don't know, and then hope for the best. This afternoon I'm going to Intratuin, and that's quite a bit of cycling, and the wind has been very, very strong, so luckily I have an electric bicycle, because that really helps. There you are. I'm just stitching up, I think about 4 or 5. I have to check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 of them I have to stitch, and then that's enough to stitch the next border. So it's quite a big border. It's not called a border, what's it called? These rows, basically. Oh, a band. It's a band sampler, this one. We are moving towards the 5th of December, and in the Netherlands that is Sinterklaas. So basically, I usually don't celebrate it much, but especially young families do, and you give each other presents that are obviously not from you, they're from Sinterklaas, which is like a Santa Claus. And he comes all the way from Spain. So the shops are busy because people have to get their presents in order. And one of you was kind enough, Linda, one of the viewers, was kind enough to send me a little package. So I have 2 little presents waiting for me that I can open on the 5th of December, and I love that. So thank you very much, Linda. That is too kind. So my next regular floss tube, I will probably show Linda's present to all of you. And as usual, my tea is getting cold because I can't stop stitching. So now I tell myself, when this thread is finished, I will drink my tea. And then I know myself, I finish this thread and I think, oh, I'll just get the new one ready. And then I just keep going. That's how it works. I love what pieces remind me of. I took this piece with me when I had only just started it, and I took it with me last Christmas when I went to Isle of Wight in the UK. And I was stitching this piece when I was waiting for the train, the Eurostar from Brussels to London. And I was stitching this piece. I was stitching on the border as well, because that was easy to do. I had a lot of needles loaded with the floss, and I was stitching away. And very, very near to me there was a lady who grabbed her crochet, and she was crocheting and I was stitching. It seems like yesterday, really. Even though it's a year ago that I went to Isle of Wight. I was sick when I was there, which was a shame. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have done. But yeah, I did go there. I have something on my lap. I haven't shared that yet. I'm so pleased with it. I can't tell you. I like stitching like this, so I don't sit at the table to stitch. I sit in a comfy chair and I hold my stuff up. But I found that I had oftentimes my pattern was falling on the floor, or my scissors would be falling next to my chair somewhere, and my floss would be everywhere. And so I was getting annoyed with myself, and I thought, why don't I make myself something? So I have this little lap table that I received once as a Christmas present. And I have glued little things to it, and I will see if I can show you, because this has been, I find it an invention. So this is my table, and I have glued that see-through stand, so I can put my, the pattern, I shouldn't be showing my pattern. So I might put something on top of that. Anyway, I can show it like this. And I have a little box on there that has my scissors and some needle minders and a lot of needles in there. Then I have this green little box that I have my floss in. And then I have a tiny little, it's the lid from this box, from that Rendale box, to put my little cut off flosses in. And so I have everything here. It's all glued so it doesn't fall off. And it's just perfect. I was so pleased. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. So this is what I use when I stitch, and I can only recommend it to everyone. It's been so easy, because even when my table sort of drops to the side, nothing falls off, because the little boxes, the Rendale boxes, is made of metal. So my needle minders are glued to it, obviously. Then my scissors are metal as well, so they are glued to the needle minders. So nothing can fall off. and it's just perfect. So yeah, if you have something at home that's similar and you'd like one of these, just glue away. It's not permanently glued, I have to be honest. I've used double-sided tape, so it could come off if I want to. I've also started charting that gorgeous piece from the 1800s, and I think I've done about a fifth of it. So I was quite surprised that it's not difficult. The most difficult part is choosing the right colors. So that sometimes takes a bit of time, but the charting itself is fine. In 4 weeks I'll have my Christmas break, and I haven't made any specific plans other than making that pattern. And I think Christmas Day, Christmas Day, I am spending in Groningen with my parents and my sister. So those are the only plans I have, and I have 2 weeks off, so I have some extra time. I'll probably have to do some proper cleaning. I live by myself, so it doesn't get too dirty, but I do work full time. So I don't take a lot of time for cleaning. And my colleague and I said to each other during the autumn break, we were going to do some, proper deep clean. And then she went to, I don't know, was it Greece? Last minute, so didn't happen. And I went to the house in the forest, so, oh well. Lovely. This piece is so lovely. designed by Bungard, never sure how to say that. Gracewood stitches, and it is just beautiful. Someone says, why don't you share what you've been reading? Because I think I said last time, I'm not sure what to talk about. And then someone left a comment saying, why don't you share about what you've been reading? And I have been reading lately. The thing with reading is when I was younger, I read a lot. I read everything. And up until my master's degree, I read a lot. And then I started having to read a lot for my studies. And then when I finished my master's degrees, I went straight into a PhD. So I think there was no break at all. 1 week I finished my master's and the next week I was doing my PhD. So, and then the reading got ridiculous, really, and it was all for work, PhD studies. So I think I got to a point where reading to me now is a task, and I don't love it as much as I used to do. I never read novels or anything like that because I just cannot be asked to read. And I think that's one of the things that my PhD has left me with. Can I just point out that I have indeed swapped threads and still haven't drunk my tea? So I told you that was going to happen. Oh well. So yeah, the reading is not my favorite hobby anymore, but I do read Christian books. So especially during the weekend, I try to take some time to read and then write my prayers. So this morning I went to a very small, very lovely cafe. And it's only a 10-minute walk from my house. I live very nearby the town centre, city centre. And it's quiet by the time that I arrive there. And then I read a little bit. And then I write my prayers. And I love that. It's a lovely little routine that actually is coming from my time when I was PhDing. I did a part-time PhD. I worked as a nurse as well for the NHS, and so I was busy. But in the UK, the best part was that the coffee shops and tea houses usually open very early. So a Costa Coffee would open at 6:30 or something. So I could go and have my coffee, and then I could continue the day. So I love that because I'm an early bird. I wake up very, very early. But in the Netherlands, there's not a cafe open at that time. So there's just no option to get a cup of coffee anywhere. At least not here, maybe in Amsterdam, but not here. So I used to do my reading and prayer time every day during my PhD because I could at 6:30. I don't do that now because there's nothing open. I try to do it here. I've made a little prayer nook where I can sit and read. and focus. And so yeah, that's sort of the reading I do, and that's the only reading I do. Now I do have, since you asked, what are you reading? I'll show you and tell you. I've just finished a book by Tyler Staton, and he's a pastor, I believe, and it is about prayer and how to have a, or should I say, biblical prayer life. And I really liked the book. I thought it was excellent. So I can recommend that one to you all. I'd never heard of him. I've never read another book of him. But this book, to me, was excellent. So I think the outside is the same in the Netherlands as it is anywhere else. This is a Dutch version, Bidden als een monnik, leven als een dwaas, which I would translate to pray like a monk and live as a fool, or something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It is quite thick, but I read a chapter usually. Each time I read a chapter, and then I try to think on that as much as I can. It's 260 pages, or a little less, because that's an appendix. So it's 244 pages. But I really enjoyed it. It was because prayer is not always easy, so it's good to read things about that and get some, I wouldn't say tips, but ideas or stories about other people and how they try to enrich their prayer life. So that's good. So I can recommend that one. And then the other one I've started reading, and that I read a chapter out of this morning, was Whisper. How to Hear the Voice of God. This is an English book. Mark Batterson. And this has won a prize, Christian Book Award, so it's probably quite known. And I'm really enjoying it. I bought this book when I went to the House in the Woods, and I found a Christian outlet store, weirdly enough, very randomly, in a very small town, and they had all this lovely stuff. Anyway, I went in and bought several books, including this one, and have been loving it. It's about how you can hear the voice of God, which is difficult to do, and there are certain moments in my life where I can say, oh, that's where he spoke to me and I did or didn't listen. But yeah, that's often afterwards. It would be nice to know in the moment. So I like this book too. It's very helpful. So those are the kinds of books I read, and I don't, like I said, I don't read novels or self-help books or things like that. I wanted to write a book myself. I've actually started. I have a first draft, but I haven't continued it because I don't know, I was writing a lot, and I'd won 2 or 3 writing contests. I entered them and I won a few, and I found the community was very unkind, and I don't I decided it wasn't worth it to be part of a community like that, and yeah, so I sort of stopped writing and left it there, which a friend of mine keeps telling me about her aunt who wrote a book when she was young, and then when she was retired she went back to it and then published it. So, you know, I'm not saying the book will never happen, but at the moment it is not happening. I love Sundays like this. I don't have to do anything other than vacuuming. And I can just do things I enjoy. I do this afternoon have to reply to the comments of my latest flush tube. I usually leave that about a week and then I answer all of them. And I have to say, flush tube remains completely weird to me. It's I think my last flush tube had so many views, and then the flush tube before that didn't. It's just weird because there's no way to control it. It just happens, and I don't understand it at all. So yeah, I don't understand YouTube. So I've decided to give up on understanding it and just posting a video whenever I feel like it, and then hoping people will enjoy it. Again, let me know what you're stitching on. Even if it's something I might not be similar to my style of work, please just show it, or tell me about it, because I know there's quite a lot of you who work on things like more primitive stitching. I don't do that a lot, but I love those pieces, and I watch a lot of flush tubers who stitch those kind of pieces. And sometimes the fact that you don't stitch yourself doesn't mean you don't like it. It's just not something you would stitch, but it might still be something you'd enjoy. I don't remember when it was, but someone said, well, I've stitched sort of pieces with dragons on it. And she said it's probably not your taste, and it's definitely something I would never stitch. But I'm pretty sure that I would really love it when I would see it. I guess being a stitcher, you know the kind of work that goes into pieces like this, and that alone is worth celebrating, I think, anyway. It's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about framing this specific one. It's such a... It's been such a delicate stitch, and it has taken me a lot of hours of stitching. Because when I bought it, I didn't realize it was this stitch heavy. I just thought it was pretty. And I didn't realize it was going to take me this much stitching. But I haven't regretted it one moment. I've loved this piece. I just wish I had more time for stitching. We never have enough time, do we? I think it was my mum who texted me yesterday, and she said, when I'm stitching, I'd love to stop time so I can just stitch forever. And I thought, yes, I would love that too. And my mum is back into stitching as well, and she bought some magic needle Christmas kits when she was at the fair. And so she started those and is loving it. She also bought some Jardin Privé, which they also have great pieces. So yeah, she's enjoying it. Now I'm telling myself, when I finish this row, I will drink my tea. We'll see what happens. I keep thinking about, I'm not much of a cook, but I'd love to make some snert. Now, if you're Dutch, you know what I mean, because this is, when it's been cold, it's even been snowing in the north of the Netherlands. My parents had beautiful snow. I might put in a picture if I can. I think my mum and dad have both sent me pictures of the snow, so I might put that in. Sorry, itchy nose. But yes, snert is perfect for this kind of weather. But I can't find the energy and time to make it. And for those who don't know, it's like a pea soup. It doesn't sound great, does it? But it's really, really nice. When I went to my parents last weekend for the fair, I came home and my mum had made stamppelbruine bonen. I think that's quite a northern dish. So stamppot is where you just put vegetables and potatoes together and you mash it. I'm pretty sure there's butter in there as well. And this is one that you make with brown beans. And then you put some bacon in it as well. And it's delicious. You put applesauce with it. I mean, I can't tell you how nice that is. And my mum had made it, so it's very nostalgic, because when we were younger we always had that on a Saturday, and it's just, yeah, very nostalgic. Oh, I have a few crooked stitches. What am I going to do with that? Just have to pull a few of the threads. I still love ironing my pieces because they make the stitches lie so much better, and it's lovely. This is where I am now. So I've done the 5 and I've done the first row up. And now I'm starting another row up, and then I will go across. But first, I will have some tea. That is now cold. We just have to accept it. It is what it is. I don't mind, to be honest. It's like I said, it's honey water, so it's nice anyway. I love my little, I can see it on my screen, my little Christmas tree that I've bought. It's perfect for those little Christmassy finishes. I think just the top one, because it's stitched on white, doesn't really blend in properly. So I might take that one off and stitch others instead. Maybe, like I said, I might get another one of these and then have a white tree as well and stitch only white ornaments. Oh, all the joy we'll have doing that. You can see a little bit of my my decor. I know some of you tell me and say, oh, my relative is Dutch or something like that. And I like the style of decorating. It's funny how countries have different styles of decorating. When I lived in the UK, I always had to get used to their way of decorating. It's very different from ours. And I have to be honest, I like my trinkets and my little bits and bobs. There are plenty of people who have much more Scandinavian design, so less stuff. But I like my stuff. All the books you see up there are by Max Lucado. So I really like his writing. Another Christian author. And so I collect his books, and those up there are all his books, and they're all in English, except for one, I think. I prefer still to read in English. So well done me for drinking tea. Now I can continue. I can go all the way up, which is easy stitching this. So if you're happy to, share with me some of your Christmas traditions, because I love that. I remember speaking to a colleague in the UK. I had a colleague who was from Finland, and she would share her Christmas traditions, and it's so nice to hear how we all have those little things that we do or dishes that we eat. So wherever you're from, I'd love to hear your Christmas tradition. Oh, the wind is really, really bad today. Goodness me. But still, I will cycle. I think it's about 10 kilometers or so. So it's not very far. And as you know, the Netherlands is a cycling country. And I have to say, when I came back from the UK after living there for 7 years, I did not have a bicycle there. Mainly because I was just scared. The roads are not, there's no room for cyclists. You're either on the road with the cars or you're on the pavement with the people who are walking, with the pedestrians. So there's no room for people on bikes. And I am used to having bike lanes. I remember when I was in the house in the woods a couple of weeks ago, I cycled to Germany. And I genuinely have feared for my life. I had to cycle on a road with cars, and they were driving so fast, and I thought, am I allowed to cycle here? Where am I supposed to go? But it was just, in the Netherlands it's always clear where you're supposed to cycle. There usually is a cycle lane. Or we also have streets where it says, it has a sign that says the car is visiting this road and this is a cycle road. So cars have to drive slowly and give you space. And all the people who drive here know, they're used to cyclists. So yeah, I love cycling in the Netherlands, but cycling elsewhere, not so much. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to continue this row all the way up, and that concludes the stitch with me. And I hope you have made progress and have enjoyed a little stitchy chat. And if you have tips or ideas, let me know, because I'm all ears. I like this format. I'm also a bit apprehensive still about this format. Last time, the first stitch with me I posted, the welcome I received from people watching was so heartwarming. And so I'm quite happy to do it again. I really enjoy these chats. But at the same time, like I say, I'm quite apprehensive in posting them. And I do think the format can be enhanced. I just don't know how. So yeah, feel free to give me your tips or ideas. I would appreciate that. I am nearly there. This is one of those pieces that's hard to put down because it just keeps going. It's part of the reason why I love pieces like my Petit Carré or the one I did by UB Design, the red and black and beige piece, because it's a square and then you have to start a new square, and that sort of is a perfect pause, if you will. This one just keeps going. There's no pause, and I have to force myself to pause at some point and say, okay, that's where I'll leave it, and next time I'll continue doing this one. But I could go on forever. And this floss, Soie d'Alger, it's perfect. Perfect floss. I do enjoy working with other flosses now. Although I have to say, amongst all of that, I still really enjoy DMC too. I think it's great floss. So although I like all the other ones, like the Soie d'Alger that I'm stitching with right now, I'm still quite happy stitching with DMC. I'm charting my the sofa piece also in DMC, I've decided. Right. So that's where I am. Isn't that pretty? And now I think up here I can go across all the way to the other side, and then I can fill in the middle row. This is the middle row. Lovely, lovely piece. So that was my stitching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a lovely chat. Again, let me know in the comments what you've been doing, how I can improve this format. And I look forward to seeing you again. I think in about 2 weeks, maybe 3, I will be posting another floss tube. I think in 2 weeks, my sister and I will be visiting Germany. We are going to the Christmas markets. So that weekend, I will not post a floss tube. And I'm not sure whether that's in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks. So either way, I will be back in 2 or 3 weeks. And I thank you very much for watching. And I hope you'll visit me again. Thank you.